Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. Today, what we're going to do is a little experiment. We're going science on this one. We're going to test the using the same shaker speeds, 12-second shake. What is the dilution rate of using cubed ice versus bagged ice? I picked up this bagged ice at the store. It's often what we use in Common Man Cocktails when we're doing our live streams and our standard videos, which, by the way, in 2 weeks on a Saturday night, we'll be doing that again, so stay tuned. Used to use more of the square ice, but this stuff tends to be a little easier because the square ice in the silicone cubes tends to kind of disappear if you don't use it quick enough, and it gets some of that sneakiness. So sometimes I just buy this for speed, and you probably do the same. However, there's probably going to be some downsides to it. So this ice is cracked, broken, clear, but it's in a lot of smaller pieces of different shapes and sizes. This ice, not really so clear because I didn't make it clear. It's a pain in the ass. But it's a consistent size ratio and you get a nice solid shake. This should work better than this in a traditional sense. My theory being, and I've explained this in the past, that if you can, you want to use this type of ice over this type of ice because you're going to get a more consistent dilution rate using this. So if I take a Boston shaker like this and I shake it with what I'm using in this case is 100. I pre-measured these out. This is 150 grams of ice and 150 grams of water off screen-ish. I'll measure the water in a bit. It's watery. It's not nearly as hard. So 150 grams, different shapes and sizes. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm letting them temper. So I'm bringing them to temperature a little bit, give them a little bit of a sweaty body. And I'm putting on the paper towels just so that we don't end up with a little extra water dilution when we do our shake. So they will maybe go down to 149. The goal is 12-second shake, pour, strain the ice out. How much water will be left to show our total dilution? Now, I'm not going to make it into a cocktail. I'm just going to use plain water because it's easier. I'll measure the weight ahead of time, 150 grams, measure it after, see how much of the ice diluted into the drink to give it that chill effect, to figure out which one dilutes better. And then from there, figure out what you should do at home, or don't care and do whatever, but at least be more wise to what you're doing and why. I'll put a link to these for Amazon down below. I used to sell them, don't do that anymore. But I do have bartender's order kits at awesomedracer.com, so you can check that out. And while we wait for a second, you should go over to the Squeaky Easy link below and watch our latest video on the Trader Vic Mai Tai, where our raccoon friend and our guinea pig builds you a Mai Tai and taste it. Well, really, they just taste it. AI videos, building things, we're not quite there yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 150 grams of water. Take our 150 grams of water. I'm going to do the crushed ice or the bagged ice first since it's going to melt first. Build it into here. And quickly give it a 12-second shake. All right. Strainer, and I'll double strain so we don't get any little crystals taking up any space. We're at 182 grams. So we had 150 grams of water. It now is 180 grams of water, which creates me a 20% dilution. Dude, that's like freaking perfect. That is exactly what you want to have. So using your crushed ice or using your, 15% is probably the best. Now we'll see what it is with the blocked ice because it's just getting to the temp that I need it to be at. This isn't too cold. I'm going to use new water because I don't want to use water that's already been chilled. Again, that would be really bad because you're not going to get the right dilution at all. Same shaker tins, but at room temperature, just so we don't get any extra dilution or craziness. We'll add our ice in. Here we go. Done. Bro, we're at 187.7. That math says that this is a 25.1% dilution rate. So we actually get a higher dilution using the cubed ice than we did with the bagged ice. So what that tells me is specifically the only big difference, given the fact that we use the same size ice against the bagged ice, is one major difference. This ice has clarity issues. Notice the white that's occurring in here. That's where the air and the minerals get trapped because it's using more of a tap water than using filtered water that you get more than likely either RO or some sort of, which is reverse osmosis, or just some sort of filtration system that you would use for bagged ice, because bagged ice comes out nice and clear. Clear ice is 100%, no doubt, packed tighter with actual water in it. There's no trapped solids or air in between. So what that does is that causes this ice to break up a little bit, and some of the shards can come off because it's easier to crack ice with holes and gaps in the structure is not as tight as it is with clear ice. That can really be not necessarily the only, but one of the big main factors. So if you're looking for a tighter ice dilution, or really the typical target dilution rate for a cocktail is between 18 and 25, 16 to 20% for stirred. So both of these fall within the range. However, you are getting more water from the silicone cubes than you are from your standard cooler ice that you buy at the grocery store. Now, if you're using any of the techniques to make clear ice out of these guys, or using very clear, refined ice cubes, your mileage may vary. You'll probably end up with less of a dilution, probably closer to the 20% or maybe even a little less, which would map up closer to the bagged ice. So what that tells me is I should feel safe and confident using my bagged ice versus my cubed ice, because I'm getting a better dilution rate, or a smaller dilution rate. You don't want to over dilute your cocktail, and you don't want to under dilute your cocktail. But it's a whole lot easier to over dilute your cocktail if you're using pour ice. And since 25 is really straddling the border, feel safe using this, feel safer using bagged ice. That seems to be what the science suggests. Right below, if you think that you have a better plan for figuring that out, I'd love to hear it. That is it, my friends. We're teaching you how to drink.